In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how a bowed left wrist in the golf swing can change your game, because there's a reason why vast majority of top tour players do this move at some point in their golf swing. So I'm going to show you exactly why and how to implement it into your golf swing too. So I'm Jonathan Chan with JChownGolf. Let's get right into this bow in the left wrist movement and how it can change your game. So if we get into straight away why a bowed left wrist can really help you in your golf swing. So you might be seeing golfers out there on tour, like your Dustin Johnsons, John Rahm, even the newer guys, like Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, all those guys. Why do they bow their left wrist in the downswing or throughout their golf swing? And it's really because it, one, controls club face very nicely. So might be a lot of guys out there, a lot of amateur golfers struggle with an open club face in the golf swing. And we can see as soon as we add some left wrist bowing into that, you can see how it will immediately, square up my club face. So you have more options to what grips you can use. A lot of guys, especially if we talk about John Rahm, has a very weak grip to where if he didn't bow his left wrist, he would have an open club face. But that's not the only reason to why bowing the left wrist can help so much, is it can also help you shallow the golf club in the downswing. You can see here, just for reference, I've got a flat left wrist, and then if I bow it in the downswing, doing nothing else, you can see how bowing my left wrist shallows the golf club. So if I'm at a place where I'm getting a square club face from bowing my left wrist and I'm shallowing the club from it, that's going to incentivize my body to rotate through the ball and have a really good passive kind of move and a good impact through there. So you can see how beneficial and why these tour players do it. So one thing to note here, guys, it's not done by guys who have a strong club face or a strong grip, I'd say, because if you've got a strong grip and you want to be bowing that left wrist, that's going to shut your club face too much. You'll still get it shallowing a little bit more, but that will shut it. So first thing to note here, guys, if you want to be bowing your left wrist and have it really be beneficial, you want to, one, be making sure you've either got a standard grip or a weaker grip. Really having it with, a stronger left-hand grip will not do. That won't work. So really, if we have our standard, like for me, in my golf swing, I have a slightly weaker grip. That bow in my left wrist really helps me with squaring the club face and shallowing the golf club. So if you're one of those guys out there, I would always recommend that before changing your grip to square up your club face and really working on these shallowing moves, if you are struggling with an open club face and you're struggling with shallowing the shaft, do this first with making sure your left wrist is bowed. So let's get right into how we can implement this in the golf swing. So if you're someone out there who has a weaker or a standard grip, we've talked about now why it helps. Let's show you exactly how to do it. So we want to get this flexion, this bowing in the wrist. So what the drill we're going to do here to get this feel is it's always best to learn something through doing a drill. What we need a glove. So we put our glove on. So ignore the hole I've got in my thumb here. It's a very old glove, so don't judge me for that. But other than that, we need a tee. Now what we do with this tee, we put it into the underside of the glove or the front side of the glove. Now what we do with that, we put it about 3/4 into the glove there. So what this is going to do, and the purpose of this, we want to be creating in our backswing a little bit of a gap between the tee and our wrist there. So it's in the front of the glove, the logo side, we want to be creating a little bit of a gap. If we don't do that and we start cupping the wrist, so the opposite of bowing, that opens the club face and steepens the shaft, we're going to end up jabbing that tee into our forearms. We're going to get a pain sort of feedback. So in my opinion, having a pain kind of feedback gives you even bigger of a response of trying to do what you want to do. Yes, it's kind of, no one wants pain, but it does really help to be able to make a change in your golf swing. So we want to be feeling like there is gap in between the tee and your forearm there. So that's going to give you that bowed left wrist, and we want to hold that angle through the downswing because that's what's going to get us the shallowing move and continue to get this club face nice and square through there. So I want to be creating a gap between tee and glove, or tee and forearm, and keeping it all the way down. So we can see there, it's always going to produce kind of a club where it's going to be shallowing a little bit and that club face is going to be nice and strong. So I would always recommend here, just like any drill, start small, work your way up. So I would do half swings first, making sure we're getting that bow. So getting that tee separating from that wrist there. You could also see here, guys, how my FootJoy logo or my logo on my glove here is pointing a little bit behind me. That's a good type of, feel to have as well as this, because this really gets that tee separating and that really gets you that good bow in there. So I could also be thinking of, right, I want this FootJoy logo to be pointing behind me. I could even think of it as early here as it pointing down to the ground as I'm taking the club in the takeaway. That will get that bow started straight away. And then we just hold that angle. You could even think of, right, if bowing it on my takeaway, I have that FootJoy logo pointing down. I can get that pointing down again in the downswing, logo to the ground, and it's going to keep the bow. So could even think logo of the glove pointing down towards the ground. And again, that's going to give you a very bowed left wrist. So this will get you practicing kind of the extreme of what we need to work on. We always want to be exaggerating, what we're doing in the golf swing to be able to make a change. So once we've got a good few reps in there, feeling that drill, we would always be wanting then to grab a ball or two just to feel that same move, getting exaggerated reps in when we, before we hit the golf ball, to really be feeling the movement. And you can see as soon as I'm doing that, that club is shallowing, the club face is squaring, nice stuff. And then the same thing. So guys, now we know how to implement that into our golf swing with that drill, with the tee and the feel we can have with the logo of our glove. Then we just need to get the practice in. So again, I'll stress, only if your standard grip or a weaker grip will this really benefit you, because if it's a stronger grip, it will just make your club face too closed. We don't want it to be too closed. You will end up hitting the ball left or right if you're a left-hand golfer, snap hooking it. So we do not want to be doing that. So it's all just a matter of practice now. And just like I said, all tour players, well, I wouldn't say all tour players, but vast majority of really top tour players bow their left wrist at some point in their golf swing, whether it's at the top of the golf swing, like a John Rahm or, a Dustin Johnson to be extreme, or it could be in the downswing. So definitely a real current player, Sungjae Im. He has a cup left wrist to the top and then he flexes it on the way down. So you can see he adds that into his downswing because it squares club face, shallows the shaft. So two really, really important things. If you're doing those two, you're going to be rotating through the ball, hitting the ball really straight and consistent. So guys, now you know what to do and now you know how to practice. So next thing you've got to do, hit that like button. So hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, obviously, and hit the subscribe button and that bell button if you enjoyed and you want more videos of mine too. Guys, now you know what to do. Get practicing and this will be a part of your golf swing in no time.